Hey, this is Matt once again. What about some of the videos? Another paid request this time for Ben. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, pretty much anything, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is for the 2005 film V for Vendetta, which is a film based on an Alan Moore graphic novel, which I had never read. Alan Moore, like everything else, he seems like a grumpy sumbitch. Anything associated with it is like, fuck it all, you know. He seems like a guy that could never be happy with anything. Maybe I'm wrong, but his appearance seems to be. But anyway, this was directed by a guy named James McTeigue, who I think will go on to direct that film Ninja Assassin, which I remember not minding, and is written by the Wachowskis. I mean, this is right after they did the Matrix sequels, and they wrote this film. I'm surprised they didn't direct it. I guess maybe this is around the time they want to do their Speed Racer movie or something. I don't know. Can't remember when that film came out. I think a few years after this. But anyway, it stars Hugo Weaving, which that wasn't the original choice for V. It was a guy named James Purefoy. I guess he filmed it for 6 weeks and then had some creative disputes and left. So I'm sure some of his bits, I guess some of the stuff you see is James Purefoy, but the whole thing is redubbed by Hugo Weaving, who of course was Agent Smith in the Matrix films. And Hugo Weaving was the right choice. He had the perfect voice for that, as this kind of, well, as one person put it, freedom fighter. I guess the fascist regime here in England portrayed in this movie. Because the way the story is that it takes place in a future where there's a fascist state, the U.S. has been turned to a leper colony, there's been a virus that, and among other stuff, that weakened the people, and the people got so weakened that the government took over. And I will say this film was better than I remember, because I saw this film once long ago. I think as I grow older and you see, sadly, a lot of comparisons between this and today's age, and it's sadly very fitting, and seems like we're headed towards that state of affairs, because there's a virus and there's the news and how the media manipulates people and manipulates lies, and how people get fooled and how the public gets weakened, like it says, for the government to take over. And there's a lot of good lines of dialogue. Listen to this again. And if you want to keep looking down so that I don't fuck up the lines, like there's a bit where V, who is always wearing this mask, you pretty much never see his face. It's always this mask, very unique looking mask. And he says, he promised you order and peace for silent obedience and consent. Because he takes over this this British TV news program in order to get his message out there, and says, 1 year's time, if you can join me, be at this spot, in this place. And then pretty much throughout the year he does these hits on these higher upper echelon of the British Parliament and the people that are, the higher ups that are suppressing the people. People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people. I thought that was a pretty good line. Or, what was it? Yeah, you may kill me, but ideas are bulletproof. I don't know, the lines of dialogue, maybe because of the world we live in today. I mean, this works as a movie more so today than it did back then in 2005. And I think that was one of the things Alan Moore was mad about, is that he was showing, for what I understand, that both his streams were bad, while this is more of, V in this is much more heroic. Like, he saves Natalie Portman, and you tell he's like falling in love with Natalie Portman, and they even at a point dance with each other. He seems like he does care for the people and he wants them to be in a better place, a better realm, much more romantic, while in the source material I believe he was much more ruthless. And he didn't care who he killed. If you get in my way, I kill you. He was much more vicious, much more ruthless, much more anti-heroic, open to kill an innocent person or two to get his goal across. I didn't, because it was trying to show more of the extreme of both. And there are extremes on both, to be fair. So I did get that point what Alan Moore was saying, but I also did what the Wachowskis wanted to do with this. There's definitely some nice style to the film. Once in a while you have a CG effect that doesn't hold up the best because it's 2005, but it's not wall-to-wall action. There's little bits here and there. There's a nice bit of a knife fight sequence in the finale where blood is spraying and he's able to outmaneuver and kill these guys. Nice usage of slow-mo. I'm not sure about when he flips the blades, there's this CG wave with it. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Obviously it's done to be more stylistic, but to me it was a bit too... I don't know what word I'm thinking of. Showy, a bit too distracting. But I know some people like that stuff. Natalie Portman, she plays a person who works with the British TV news. Like I said, V saves her. And then throughout the film is kind of, you tell, fall in love with her, but also wanting to teach her how to live without fear. I mean, there's even a point I completely forgot that she doesn't know it yet, but he imprisons her and is torturing her. And I'm sure that's probably much more adamant in the book. Or actually, I don't know if any of that's in the book. I don't know. But this one is the teacher to be stronger and teacher to be angry and use that rage. So even then, it shows that even he's going too far with that shit. You want to live without fear. It's like Hugo Weaving, like he had the right voice for that type of stuff. To have a performance where you're not showing your face pretty much the whole time. It was interesting to see this plan unfold throughout the year and fall like dominoes. And like I said, this is a nice style. Like this big domino scene that all falls down one after the other to form this image. At least it wasn't fire, like, because what Daredevil and Punisher and like every other movie did it with fire. At least it changed it up a bit to do it with dominoes, which makes sense within the story. Like I said, once in a while, CGI effect doesn't hold up the best. Like I said, I don't have too many issues. The runtime, over 2 hours. Not sure if it needed to be over 2 hours long. I see John Hurt from Alien and Hellboy in there. He plays the big brother type of figure on screen, talking to the masses, which is ironic because he starred in a film adaptation in 1984, where he was one of the people watching Big Brother on screen. Now it's reversed. So I'm guaranteed that's why they did that, so that was nice detail. Stephen Ray is there as a cop, and I like Stephen Ray, but I thought they did nothing with his character. That's probably one of the few like big nitpicks I have, is he's pretty much just there along for the ride and doesn't really accomplish a whole lot, because he's not the main antagonist or foil for V. There's not like a point where he has to save Natalie Portman. It's pretty much either him playing catch up or him realizing what his government's doing, and he could stop her, but he doesn't. Like, he could stop Natalie Portman, but he doesn't. But it's like, I don't know, for a good actor, Stephen Ray was in The Crying Game and stuff. It just felt like anybody could play the part where there's really not much good acting scenes, like strong acting scenes for Steven to get to do, or much for a character to be employed at. It just almost felt like a useless character. Like I say, he didn't really get much to do. So I thought, I don't know, maybe that's how it was in the comic. I don't know. But yeah, watches again, like I said, it was pretty interesting, the comparison between today's age of, fascism and government control because the people are weak, and if you want order and peace, give us your silent obedience. And the film, when it came out, it did alright box office wise. I think it cost $50 million, made $70 million in the US, made $137 million worldwide. It got some good reviews from critics. It got 2 thumbs up. Roger Ebert, and I think that was when he was with the Richard Roper, I think. And it's definitely a film a lot of people reference nowadays, that people remember to this day. Natalie Portman, I don't know how people feel about her accent. I could deal with it. Some people may feel her British accent is fake. I could deal with it, because I think Natalie Portman was a better actress when she got away from those Star Wars prequels. Like before that, she was in Leon the Professional. She did a better job, and in this, she does a better job. Just those Star Wars prequels were not for her, or they weren't for a lot of people. And I don't even hate some of them like other people do, but they're not the best movies either. I say I could have done with a little bit more action, but I'm an action junkie. Could have done with a bit more fight scenes, but again, I'm a fight scene junkie. Like I said, the CGI, it's fine. It's 2005, it's of its era. There's definitely some nice style, which then the director would use in films like Ninja Assassin. At least in this one, when the blood sprays, like, that's the thing with Ninja Assassin, there's so much like CGI blood in it. At least there's not as much of that in this movie compared to later on Ninja Assassin, was from the same director. Being with that, like the way it's employed Ninja Assassin, it seemed like it was done more for style. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that film. I don't even know if that film's on Blu-ray. Probably is. But trying to think if there's anything else I could talk about. It's definitely, like I said, when I watched this before, years and years and years ago, I was kind of lukewarm on it. Watching now, again, because the plot was a bit more interesting to watch, like I said, comparing to today's age, I could see a lot of similarities, Sally, if we keep going this way. I think a lot of people feel the same way with that as too. And like I said, the look of V and the voice of Hugo Weaving is very distinct. When the fights do happen, they're pretty decent. They're not Raid Redemption, type of coolness, but they're pretty decent for what they need to be. I don't know who was in the suit for the whole time. Like I said, if James Purefoy was on this for 6 weeks, doesn't mean a lot of the scenes are with him. Is actually Hugo Weaving, because it's his voice, but it doesn't mean it's his body in the suit. So I don't know if who's doing the... I mean, they could have easily just put someone else to do the fight scenes. I don't know. Like I said, there's not a lot of fight scenes, but it's not a martial arts movie. But overall, yeah, I just thought it was a pretty decent film. It held up better than I remember. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later.